Most people misunderstand financial networking because they start from the wrong desire. They want access before they have value. They want proximity to power before they understand responsibility. Books written by investors, financiers, and long-term capital allocators describe a very different reality. A powerful financial network is not built by collecting contacts. It is built by earning trust under uncertainty, and that process is slower, quieter, and far more demanding than most expect. Serious books on financial networks begin by separating social popularity from financial credibility. Many people are well-liked. Few are trusted with money. Trust in financial contexts is not emotional, it is behavioral. It is built through consistency, restraint, and judgment across time. This is why powerful financial networks rarely form quickly. Capital moves cautiously because mistakes are expensive and memories are long. One of the first lessons these books emphasize is that financial networks are built on reputation before opportunity. Before people are invited into deals, they are observed in smaller situations. How they talk about risk, how they handle disagreement, whether they exaggerate outcomes, whether they take responsibility when things go wrong. Financial celebrities often note that their earliest relationships were formed long before any money changed hands. Another recurring insight is that powerful financial networks grow around decision-making, not status. Being close to wealth is less valuable than being close to judgment. Books show that those who eventually built strong financial networks positioned themselves near decision-makers, analysts, partners, allocators, even when their role was minor. They listened more than they spoke. They learned how decisions were framed, not just what decisions were made. These books are clear about one uncomfortable truth. Financial networking is asymmetric in effort. Early on, you give far more than you receive. You share insights. You make introductions. You help others think clearly. You expect nothing in return. This phase can last years. Many people abandon the process here, assuming they are being exploited. In reality, they are being evaluated. Another core principle emerges around signal control. In financial circles, what you say matters less than how precisely you say it. Overconfidence repels capital. Vague optimism signals immaturity. Books emphasize that disciplined language, acknowledging uncertainty, quantifying risk, avoiding absolute claims creates credibility. Those who speak carefully are trusted more deeply than those who speak loudly. Books on this topic also stress that financial networks are standards-based, not ambition-based. Everyone wants success. Few want accountability. Financial celebrities earned trust by setting clear standards for themselves: no hidden risks, no rushed deals, no misaligned incentives. These standards made them predictable, and predictability reduces perceived risk for others. Another important insight concerns patience with invisibility. For long periods, those building financial networks operate in the background. They are not invited to headline opportunities. They are not publicly recognized. Books describe this stage as essential. It allows mistakes to be made quietly, lessons to be learned cheaply, and norms to be absorbed without reputational damage. Financial networks also differ from career networks in one crucial way: memory. Financial relationships remember both success and failure. One reckless act can close doors permanently. One responsible decision during a difficult moment can open doors years later. This long memory explains why books repeatedly warn against exaggeration, shortcuts, and performative intelligence. Another theme appears around contribution before capital. Many of the strongest financial networks were built by individuals who contributed analysis, structure, or perspective before they ever contributed money. They helped others see risk more clearly. They clarified incentives, They improved decision quality. Over time, they became valuable, not for what they owned, but for how they thought. Books also draw a sharp distinction between transactional and relational networking. Transactional behavior seeks immediate benefit. Relational behavior seeks alignment over time. In finance, transactional networking is remembered negatively far longer than relational networking is remembered positively. This asymmetry shapes behavior for those who understand it. Mentorship appears differently in these books than in popular career advice. Mentors in financial networks are rarely motivational. They are evaluative. Their approval is quiet, but meaningful. Financial celebrities did not seek these mentors aggressively. They earned their attention by demonstrating judgment, restraint, and growth over time. Another recurring lesson concerns selectivity. A powerful financial network is not large. It is dense. Too many weak connections dilute credibility. Books show that saying no to deals, partnerships, and introductions is often what signals seriousness. Selectivity communicates standards. Standards attract trust. Financial books also emphasize the importance of how losses are handled. Profitable outcomes attract interest. Responsible behavior during loss creates loyalty. Many lifelong financial relationships were forged during failed deals when one party acted with integrity, transparency, and accountability. These moments define reputation more than success ever could. Another subtle insight is that ego is the greatest enemy of financial networking. Self-promotion, exaggerated certainty, and performative intelligence create distance quickly. The most respected figures spoke less, listened more, and admitted uncertainty without embarrassment. Humility in these books is framed not as virtue, but as risk management. Over time, those who build strong financial networks notice a shift. They stop seeking access and start becoming reference points. Others ask for their perspective. Others want alignment. Their role changes from participant to node. Value flows through them because they have proven how they handle it. As networks mature, maintenance replaces expansion. Quiet check-ins, sharing relevant insights, supporting others without agenda. Books stress that neglect erodes trust faster than conflict. Financial relationships require care, even when no transaction exists. And this is where the story begins to narrow. Because once financial networking is understood not as collecting influential names, but as earning a reputation for judgment, restraint, and reliability under pressure, behavior changes fundamentally. Urgency fades, standards rise, contribution precedes asking, and the network grows slowly, almost invisibly compounding through shared experience and mutual respect, revealing its real strength only when capital, reputation, and trust are truly at stake, like a system that only reveals its true value when pressure arrives. And this is where books about financial networks deliver their most uncomfortable but most important lesson. In the second half of this story, serious financial literature makes one thing unmistakably clear. You do not truly enter a powerful financial network when you are invited into a deal. You enter it when something goes wrong, and you are still trusted afterward. Capital tests character quietly. Stress exposes behavior loudly. The network is watching in those moments far more closely than during success. Books repeatedly show that the strongest financial networks are forged during friction. Deals that stall, assumptions that fail, markets that turn. In these moments, most people reveal why they were never meant to be trusted with capital at scale. They deflect responsibility. They hide information. They protect ego before partners. And once this happens, the network does not argue, it simply remembers. By contrast, those who became central figures in financial networks behaved differently under pressure. They communicated early, even when the news was bad. They shared downside rather than isolating it. They accepted accountability without theatrical guilt. These actions did not eliminate losses, but they transformed losses into trust capital. Books are blunt here. Profits create interest, but integrity during loss creates loyalty. Another powerful insight emerges at this stage. Financial networks do not reward brilliance as much as reliability. Many intelligent people never gain access to meaningful capital because intelligence without restraint feels dangerous. Networks prefer someone predictable over someone impressive. Predictability lowers uncertainty, and uncertainty is the true cost of capital. Books also emphasize that access follows consistency, not intensity. One well-handled situation matters more than 10 enthusiastic conversations. Financial celebrities were rarely the loudest voices in the room. They were the ones whose behavior stayed stable across cycles. Their standards did not fluctuate with mood or market conditions. Over time, others adjusted around them. As trust deepens, a subtle transition occurs. The individual stops being evaluated deal by deal and starts being evaluated as a person. At this point, the network no longer asks, "Is this opportunity good?" It asks, "Do we want to do this with them?" This shift marks entry into the inner layer of financial networks. It happens quietly. There is no announcement. Books also highlight that maintenance becomes more important than expansion. Powerful financial networks do not grow quickly. They compound slowly. Regular agenda-free contact matters. Sharing insight without expectation matters. Showing up when nothing is to be gained matters. Neglect erodes trust faster than conflict because it signals misalignment. Another uncomfortable truth appears here. Financial networks are fragile to ego at higher levels. The more access someone gains, the more dangerous arrogance becomes. Books show that many people lose networks they spent decades building because they confused influence with entitlement. The most respected figures remained careful even when they no longer needed to be. Over time, the purpose of the network itself changes. It stops being a source of opportunity and becomes a source of calibration. Trusted peers challenge assumptions. Quiet feedback replaces flattery. This environment protects against catastrophic mistakes. Financial celebrities often say their greatest advantage was not information, but being surrounded by people who would tell them when they were wrong. And this leads to the final resolution. A powerful financial network is not something you join. It is something you become worthy of. It forms around those who handle uncertainty with discipline, capital with respect, and relationships with patience. It is invisible to outsiders and obvious to those inside it. If this reflection resonated with you, pause and ask yourself one honest question. If a deal failed tomorrow, would the people around you feel safer or more exposed because of how you handled it? That answer defines your real position in any financial network. Share what this made you reconsider. And if you want to keep exploring book-driven insights about trust capital and long-term influence, subscribe and stay connected. Because in finance, access is temporary, but reputation compounds.